Hello Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me Munchie and welcome to Munchies Place for Homeless Pets, where I foster hamsters, gerbils, and mice at my rescue. Today's introduction story is a surrender intake where the owner contacted us about two specific gerbils, mother and daughter, Sugar and Cinnamon. Although Sugar and Cream would have been pretty spot on, I would say. Cinnamon is kind of like out of place there. I feel like it should be Sugar and Cream. But let's introduce you to these two lovable little gerbils here. And yes, we finally have gerbils at the rescue. For those of you who keep asking, please do gerbil care. I will once we have gerbils, and now we have gerbils! So we will do that. But let me just tell you a little bit about their surrender intake story. So the owner did surrender them to our rescue. It's much different from us going out and rescuing these ourselves from people who are listing them online in bad situations, improper care, etc., where we don't personally get to know or bond with this person. This person who surrendered these gerbils to us did all that they could. Originally, they were the roommates gerbils, and when they saw that they were not being kept in a good living condition, then they stepped in and cared for them for a couple of months. 3 to 4 months is what we were told. And unfortunately, this person has to move and doesn't think the long trip with the gerbils would be suitable. So they contacted us and we were able to step in, help out these gerbils, and get them to the main home. But let me tell you a little bit more, just because I took notes here, because I have a lot of intakes that I do at the same time, or they are so close together that I start to get information very blurry. I have a lot going on right now in my life, so notes are what I'm going to be reading off of in front of you guys. Don't mind the quality of the videos when I have notes in my hands. It's the thought that counts of saving these guys. But anyways, these gerbils are about 2 to 3 years old, Sugar being a little bit more towards 3 just because she is the mother of Cinnamon. I don't know that situation, but that is what we know. They're just mother and daughter pair gerbils. They were housed inside of a DIY guinea pig starter cage from KT. It could have also been the dwarf rabbit starter cage because it's purple and usually the guinea pigs one is blue. So it could have been that, but anyways, they tried to DIY the outside because these guys are escape artists because the bars are very far apart, and a lot of people say that you can DIY these enclosures. I would not recommend DIYing these enclosures because you would have to cover up even the opening because they can get through that opening because of the door style is one of those latches up top. There is 2 gaps on the side of the latch, and so they could easily get out of there. And that's what they kept on still trying to do. They tried to get out through that little part there, so she had to tape it up. Isn't that terrible? So that's why I don't recommend, even though they are the adequate size for, say, for instance, hamsters. I hear people all the time saying, well, you could just DIY it. That is more trouble than what it's worth. Unfortunately, this enclosure we would just not be using in general, and so it went straight to the trash, and it just had a lot of barbed wires sticking out, and I got cut, and I just didn't want to deal with it. It was a temporary thing for those gerbils, and they are in our care now in the Night Angel enclosure. Now, people were wondering, well, you can't stick gerbils in there. You have the sliding glass door. How are you supposed to interact with them? The top comes off. And this enclosure is much different than the 40-gallon breeder tank. You might be thinking you're buying exactly the same thing as the 40-gallon breeder tank, but you're not because the height difference. There is a specific height difference between the 40-gallon and this one. And this one is 20, is it 20? Or 22 inches tall. Gosh, I haven't measured this in a while. It is, I want to say, around 20 inches tall versus the 40-gallon breeder that is 17 inches tall. So it is much higher, which is great for gerbils and their pan depth. So we put them in the Night Angel with that pan depth in mind, but we are using the 12-inch silent runner wheels. So unfortunately, we couldn't fill it all the way up with bedding, but they do have over 6 or 8 inches of bedding in there. I forgot what measurements they had, but they can make burrows. They have things inside that I have buried deep underground where they could use as hides and tunnels. They have the, I believe it is the Night Angel playset castle-like thing in there. They really love that a lot. I had a lot of wood and natural things in there with them. You don't want to give them a lot of plastic in there. There are gerbils that will not chew plastic, and then there are stressed gerbils that will chew through plastic, so it's best to have a lot of natural things inside of there, and plenty of chew toys. Give them a lot of chew toys. If your gerbil isn't stressed and they're just naturally chewing or gnawing on wood every once in a while, I mean, that's still pretty good there too. So let's move on to some concerning things here. So when we were intaking them, they answered the questions so perfectly. I appreciate that. They really wanted these gerbils going to a great place, and I thank them so dearly for just letting us have that opportunity to take them in. They weren't trying to dump them off of us. A lot of people might think that, oh, well, you know, they just contact you guys because they want to dump their load on you. No, a lot of the times it is due to some life situations that are not in particular to the animal anymore, and things are changing and it sucks, and people just want them going to good places. The world is not always negative. I try to at least tell people that, but when it is negative, I will make it a big deal. You can count on that. But I did ask them if they had any issues, medical concerns. They said that Sugar did have something wrong with her eyes. They weren't really sure about, but when I got Sugar, and this is the scary part, which we are going to the vets this Thursday for a drop off and then a pickup later on because they just didn't have any openings, and this might be a very serious problem. Sugar's sides are ballooning like she's pregnant, and it could be a sign that she's bloated, or it could be a sign of there's some crazy ovarian problems going on with her. So this is just common in female small mammals. It's just their reproductive traits tend to have tumors, cysts, all these issues, hormonal imbalances. I can relate to that. I still have acne at this day and age, but yes, being a female kind of does suck, and it sucks in mammal form. And we've had at the rescue a lot of animals who have ovarian problems. We had a lot of hamsters with pyometra, and we have a guinea pig now that's going to get spayed because she has an ovarian cyst right next to her kidney, and it needs to come out, and she needs to get spayed, and she's going in January and having that done, and I haven't announced that yet, so now you know, for those of you who haven't seen the updates on Instagram about them, because I haven't made a video about any updates on my guinea pigs that we have here at the rescue. Yes, she is going in to get that removed, and I did get a second opinion from a vet that I see constantly, so I am glad I went back in and saw my vet, because when I went in before, I saw a different vet that just focused on the hair loss, not the concerning mass in her abdomen. Yeah, but Sugar, unfortunately, she is lethargic. She is doing kind of like a heavy breathing sometimes. Today she was a lot better and she didn't seem as big as she was yesterday, but she was not looking good at all. I went to my gerbil group that I am a part of because I've never really had experience with older gerbils, and I thought there could have been something wrong with her. And I asked the question of, could this be, for instance, pyometra? It is very uncommon, but it can still happen in gerbils. So we're gonna go take her taken care of. We're gonna go see Mo because Mo's abscess, even though it bursted and it seemed like he was healing, it still stayed the same size, and it's still a concern. So he's going and getting that chest abscess checked out because it's right by his scent glands. And then we just got in a new hamster. Her name is Princess Penelope, and she has a mass on her chin that does concern us because that does not look like a little nick. That definitely looks like there's something possibly going on there. So we're gonna go get her seen as well. All these drop-offs, oh my gosh. So yes, now we have to add Sugar to the mix of that. So you guys can see Sugar's updates on Instagram if they're not already present. These videos always tend to come out later than need be because I don't upload all the time, but that is where we're at for the gerbils. We got gerbils at the rescue, yay! One of them has to go in and possibly get surgery if there is something horribly wrong with her. Oh, but she could have a positive outcome because we fixed the problem, yay! But then there's also the risk of her possibly having some horrible surgery complications because of her age is around 3 years old. Boo. There's just so much going on right now that unfortunately we just cannot foresee if this is a good thing or a bad thing. But we have so many animals right now that are on medical watch, and it is quite unfortunate. So right now I think the total is at 4, but that is 4, actually technically 5, because Butters and Rumble are both paired, so they have to go together. But that's 5 animals not getting a home because they have to be in quarantine for much longer due to medical concerns. And it's just unfortunate that these things happen, but we are trying all that we can for these animals because if they were not in our care, they might not have got the help. And if anybody's wondering, no, this person that surrendered before probably did not understand what was happening with Sugar. She probably did not see anything wrong because she was not experienced with gerbils and just took over someone else's gerbils because of the horrible living conditions. So she could have been her herself a new time gerbil owner and did not know the signs to look out for. Because we've been around so many animals here at the rescue, we kind of know the signs to look out for, and it seems very obvious she has something internally going on. But Cinnamon, completely fine, completely normal. I was told Cinnamon does give kind of a nip, but not too bad. She's only nipped like twice within 3 to 4 months, but that was more of a curious, are you food type of nip, making sure you're okay. She never bit down or anything. These girls can be quite active, but unfortunately Sugar does take it a little bit slower, but they are just seeming like they love their enclosure and environment. They love their little hides, nooks, and crannies in their new Night Angel enclosure. So you guys are welcome to see updates on Instagram of them and their progress. So this is what we were given. There was a water bottle, a small water bottle that was with the DIY cage, and a 6.5-inch wheel that was a KT silent spinner. That wheel is definitely not appropriate for gerbils, but I did take them out of the cage before I threw the cage away, and they are in our cleaning pile, so I don't have them right here right now. But this is what the gerbils came with. They came with Vita, Prima, Sunscription, Hamster and Gerbil formula. This stuff isn't bad, but it's still not good. But it's better than the KT food that you see all the time. So it's decent. Glazed donuts, delicious and healthy treat. This right here I reviewed in my haul from Walmart. This stuff right here is not good for them because it has too much sugar and they don't need sugar. And it has natural milk flavor. If this has milk in it, gerbils are more sensitive to dairy than, say, for instance, hamsters. So you really should be careful when feeding your gerbils anything dairy. There's kind of a mixed study of gerbils and dairy, but the general census online says try to avoid dairy for gerbils. It's not in their natural environment. It's not needed. Their systems are much more different than hamsters' systems, so it's best to just not feed them dairy. So that includes yogi drops. So we have this fine powder here called small animal bath dust. This dust is too fine for smaller mammals because their respiratory systems are very sensitive, and it's very powdery. If I open this up, as you can see, well, I hope you can see. Can you see? Oh, you kind of can. It's very dusty and it does smell. And this stuff should not go inside your enclosure. It will get everywhere. They could start sneezing a bunch, and they could also start having some issues and discomfort. And you can start to see their breathing get a little bit labored. I made the mistake when I was reintroduced to hamsters of using this stuff on accident. I used it once and I was like, nope, not doing it, because I noticed the effects of it for my little Hannibal. Don't do it. Pretzel sticks from where? Oh, it's a Petco Oops sticker. That's so funny. You know I shop too much at Petco and PetSmart when you can identify the discount stickers of both stores. But anyways, we got some wood chews in there, so that's good. And we got some KT Clean and Cozy bedding, and that's also good as well to be using for them. And that is what they came with. So thank you guys so much for watching today's intake story of Sugar and Cinnamon. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, hit like to support, comment down below with anything you would like to say about this video, and subscribe if you're new here and would like to see more from me in the future and become a part of the Munchkin family. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you guys in another upcoming video. Bye bye!